Hi and welcome to Dynamic DCUO. Wind here, and today we have Lara Fleas, and we're going to be taking a look at the seasonal event, the Midnight Masquerade. Now we'll also be looking at some of the base items and styles, but for now let's go ahead and cover the event. There's definitely a few things, if you've never done this before, you need to be aware of. The first is the crystals that drop twice during the event, and it'll pop up on the screen, but 2 crystals drop, and they need to be run by players to 2 different podiums. And during that time, Klarion does not take damage, so there's no point in not going for the crystals. Attacking Clarion's not providing any benefit at that point. The final crystal that pops up needs to be taken to the back of the room, the area where all the big windows are, that's behind Klarion when you start. And that's also where a device will pop up that you can activate and carry around that will pick up the ads, the apparitions. And that's not always necessary, but if you're starting to get overwhelmed by ads, somebody does need to grab that and run it around. And when I say the back of the room, those are the windows I'm talking about, and that's the podium where the final crystal will need to go. Now Tickle, his little cat there, can attack you during this. So if you're carrying the crystals, he can hit you and knock the crystals away from you, something to be aware of. He also drops as a base item from this event at random, so you can catch him as a cool little base pet. Now something that doesn't happen during this run is sometimes Klarion goes up into kind of a reddish pink square, and when that happens, you can't damage him. Ads will pop up around you after a moment, and you have to kill them before he takes damage. So another time that you just want to be aware of what you're targeting. Now these are the crystals. You see it pops up on the screen. And as you grab the crystals, you do get an arrow overhead, although sometimes it can be difficult to see, especially depending on if you're zoomed in or not. And depending on how much you've practiced or how good you are at throwing things, you can throw the crystals to where they need to go. But they can also, hit something and go out of the way and then really make it take longer. And I don't know if you noticed it during that I did hit Klarion just to show he wasn't taking damage. I will make a point of it again in the next crystal run just to make sure that we get it in here. Now, this event is not terribly hard, but Klarion is more dangerous than a lot of bosses. You can see when I hit him that time it said immune, and I'll do it again after I run this crystal. So I'm going to fire on him again here, and as you can see he's not taking damage. That won't happen until this guy gets his crystal in. Now boom, he's taking damage again. So now that both pairs of crystals have dropped and he's active again, the next time the crystal comes up, which is the 3rd time, that's going to be the final crystal that you throw to the back of the room or walk back there. You can see in the back right now by the windows the device that you would activate and carry around if you needed to get rid of the additional ads. And this group's doing well enough that we just didn't need to use it. I mean, it's not something you need every time. Now that final crystal is going to appear back by where you started, right next, right here. Now I'm going to target a ghost and move over just so I can throw it. Again, if you're not careful, you can end up throwing that into another room and make that take a lot longer. But it's not a particularly long run if it goes well. One of the biggest problems usually is people not running the crystals, people throwing the crystals into the wrong room, players dying because they're fighting Klarion when he's not taking damage. So that's something you really want to be aware of when you're doing this run. Like I said, some great things can drop from this, from the Tickle pet, Boos and Boo belts. You can have the candy drop for your trick or Tickle buckets, which give you all kinds of cool prizes to sometimes not cool prizes. But definitely a run that's a lot of fun, at least in my opinion. I've always loved this run, and I love the base items you get from it. And if you're really into Halloween or into the darker kind of things, then these base items are really cool. I recommend looking at every year's base items if you haven't seen them before, just because there's really a lot of great base items here. Now, they are rather expensive for one of these events, and as you see, you only get 6 marks from the event. You do get another 4 from the street, so running both in one day, you have enough to buy most basic base items. Styles, of course, they're a bit more expensive. Now, unfortunately, they still haven't worked out being able to rotate certain floor items, so there's some things you can't see until you get them. However, some people have put up videos from the test server where you can view all these items early. Now, I'm also going to put up a video, hopefully in the next couple days, showing all the base items in a base. But for now, I do have to refer you to the test server people, or excuse me, the people who put up videos from the test server to see what the base items look like. Now there are other things, you can buy the boos out of here. You don't have to wait for them to drop, and the boos are great because they're a sidekick. They provide multiple benefits each, and you can have all 4 of them out if you have the boo belt. Now, like I said, you can catch them from multiple places in game, but you can also buy them. I believe it's 100 marks, but you do need the boo belt to be able to run more than one of them. Now, the style items are pretty cool. This mask I'm not terribly fond of. The shoulders that I was just looking at will look really good with the Headless Horseman jacket. I believe my counterpart Valmy will be putting up a video of that. Now the accessory, the candelabra, that's actually kind of neat. I don't know that I have any characters that will run it, but still it's not horrible looking by any stretch. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like this kind of content, please click like and subscribe. Click the bell icon to stay notified. Leave us some comments and suggestions. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.